Yeah, once again, it's the Tony Bogor podcast, live from headquarters. And I wanna send a shout out. Yeah, I really wanna send a shout out to Bobby Yeye. And his interview he did with my homeboy Chucky Lewis a couple of weeks back. And I'd like to send another shout out to my young homie Lil Draws. I respect them and I appreciate them. And they're a better man than me because whatever I did, at least they learned something because neither one of them ever hit a 180 yard. And they did. They didn't gain through the same torpid I gained through the projects, like everything that I went through. They walked around it, you know, and they got their little podcast going on. They always proactive, giving back to the neighborhood, and I like to elaborate on a little something that Chucky Lewis said on Bobby Yayo podcast when he talked about Sally Dougie Williams and Bob Simmons. Well, when Bob Simmons and Sally Dougie Williams hooked up, when they got together, they had opened up a little old transition on. That's what they call them now, bridge on, transition on, whatever got on you want to call it, but it was more like a transition on. And when Chucky Lewis was speaking on Stanley Dougie Williams and Bob Simmons, I was one of the youngsters that was in the boys' zone. Stanley he older than me, so he was somebody I looked up to. Because the house that he had, it was called the Red House. It was on Pine Street in Linwood. And wherever Dougie went, he made trips. Or, he like back then, it didn't last long, the hood didn't last long, but when he moved over there in the Red House on Pine, he named that Pine Crips. It was, back then it was Pine Crips. We was in the house, in the garage, lifting weights one day. One of the robbers came by shooting at the house. Stanley ran out with him, one and got him up off us. And when I was in there lifting weights and I was a little youngster, and I see what he did and I see what him and Bob Simmons was doing, trying to change it, trying to give us something to do other than ended up like, and I still ended up like Stanley, so but I had a choice. And when I said when I grow up, I want to be like him, live, be buffed and all that, I got my wish, I grew up. And I'm like him a lot because at the end, Sally tried to change lives. He wrote children books, bestsellers, with the other lady named Barbara. And was in the movie Redemption with my brother Tony Bogor. And he was, at the end, he was very, very proactive, just like my brother Tony Bogor was, just like Nipsey Hussle was. Everybody could change. It ain't never too late to change. But the reason why I sent a shout out to Bobby Yayo and Lil Draw because, they is the perfect role model for the next generation, because you don't have to, you ain't hard going on nowhere near yard. You hard, not even going, period. That's what make you hard. And that's what make you a soldier. Bobby Yayo, Lil Draw, them soldiers from my neighborhood. And they role models. They really are, what I mean? It's like this with everything. I'm your friend when you want something. But when you don't want nothing, I'm your enemy. That's life. That's ghetto life. So I don't pay no mind. But for them, never, like I say, when you hit them 180 yards, it's over. Your life over. Either you got 2 or 3 life sentences, you never gonna get out. Or you in a shoot program, indeterminate. So by them never taking that route that I took, I salute them. And they way better men than I could ever be. And that's real talk. You know, and there's a lot of young homies out there, you know, they be getting on the podcast, and they, you know, especially from jail, talking about it it's fun being in jail, but see, they'll never get to know 180 yard, you know why? Because they on the half and half yard, a 50-50 yard, SMY yard, a PC, a Baylor bottom line, they on the PC yard. They can't never be on the 180 yard ever. They can't never. Hey man, I ain't gotta say no more. You know the 180 yard speak for itself. Ain't nobody gonna be on no 180 yard with no snitch jacket. Ain't no rat hard enough in the world to walk on the 180 yard and don't get touched or laid down without his paperwork. So all that old, yeah, hey man, stop it. Everybody that been on that 180 yard know exactly what I'm talking about. These dudes that's getting on these podcasts, they coming off them half and half yard, them 50-50 yard, them SMY yard. That's why they still with all that disrespect. Ain't nobody on the 180 yard gonna disrespect no other neighborhood by you know, saying them little slanderous words about, you know, we ain't gonna do that. You know, you ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna have nobody who crossed up on your body because they gonna check you about that. And yeah, like I say, you know, niggas might say, oh, that nigga just know. Ask it and talk to somebody off of 180 yard or get somebody on the 180 yard to do a podcast and see what they say. They not gonna say nothing negative about nothing but, hey homie, this ain't for you. This ain't for you, homie. Little homie, do the right thing, do the, you know, whatever you do. Don't come here. It ain't no love, bruh. Just like it ain't no love on the streets now. It ain't no more loyalty on the street. Like I say, I'm your friend when you want something. When you don't want nothing, I'm your enemy. That's why I keep my circle real tight. And one thing about being on them 180 yards, one thing it do teach you. Like I said, anybody could get it. It ain't no super hard nigga, it ain't no super hard grip, it ain't no super hard no. Anybody could get it. And like I said, and one thing, another thing about the 180 yard that it teach you. I don't trust nobody. I don't even trust my own mama. As I mean, you might say it's fucked up, but it fucked you up like that on them kind of yard. You can't trust nobody. Because like I say, everybody on the yard know you gonna get it, but you. Your own Sally could be the one that get your own brother could be the one that get your own cousin could be the one that gets you. That's in your own cousin at you, your own brother. And if he don't take you down, both of y'all going down, or both of y'all get nailed off the yard. Y'all gonna roll that shit up. Hey, but man, you know, like I said, I'm not, that's enough of that. Because all that do is make me have flashbacks, so I'm gonna leave that in there. But like I said, I want to send a shout out for that interview Bobby did with my homie Chucky Lewis about Stanley and Bob Simmons with the Red House over there on Pine and Linwood, where with us at Pine Crib when Stanley was at the transition route. That street was Pine Crib. That was before anything in Linwood started. You know, you gotta do your history to know these things, but you know, I was a part of that. When he opened up that transition on Pine Street in Linwood, they called it the Red House, whatever was, I was there. And it was real, it was love. You know, that's what homies looked out for homies. You know, go to school is up now it's that homies looking out for homies. You know what homies tell homies? Go to prison. You ain't hard to let you go to prison. You ain't hard to let you on the yard. Hey, check it out. You not in the prison when you're on the level 2, level 3 yard. Yeah, it's active, alright, cool. You get away with a lot, but it ain't nothing like a 180 yard, bruh. You not gonna walk around on no 180 yard with no headphones on, listen to no Young Thug. You're not gonna walk around no yard with no headphones on. Stop playing. That's only on them 1 to 2 yards, 3 yards, and half and half yard, 50 yard, whatever kind of yard they got now for special need dudes on that 180. You're not coming out to seal no wild shoe mob it down like this video. Hey man, that's so unreal. Man, it's unreal. Hey, but you got these young dudes don't know no better. And they listen to these dudes in prison on these podcasts, disrespecting the neighborhoods, and they are like what they enemy go, whatever enemy they got, and if they ever expected it, but that's like I say, they never gonna sign out. They already checked in on them SNY yards, so that's what they gonna be for the rest of their life. How could you be on the SNY yard, a half and a half yard, and you got 100 years? Or you got 50 years of life? What the hell you doing on that SNY yard, dude? You supposed to be on that 180, nigga. But pushing your line instead of being a dropout. But you want to be a dropout, but you want to be a hard dropout. And trying to influence these young dudes to follow your path. Hey man, be real. Let them know where you at. Let them know you on them SNY yard, them half and half yard, this video, and let these young niggas know so they won't have to go through what you going because you don't want them to be where you at. You don't want them to be there. And like I said, I'm proud as hell on Lil Charles and Bobby Yayo, cause they ain't never been on it. And like I say, they way harder than anybody on the 180 yard because they never went. And that's how you beat the game, that's how you beat the system. Don't go. How many times do a brother have to tell you, don't go? Don't go, man. It ain't for you. It ain't for nobody at all. That 180 yard ain't gonna do nothing but break you. Hey, it ain't gonna make you, it's gonna break you. Yeah, I don't even know how the hell I made it off that 180 yard. I ain't never got DP. I ain't never got jump. I ain't never got slam. I got shot on that 180 yard Pelican Bay, B yard. Not A yard, Pelican Bay, B yard. In 2000 when they had the riot. Other than that, I would have walked it out the same way I walked in. But look at me now. I had to pay a price. I drove like a robot. And I got a big old hole in my neck. Beyond getting shot. You know, dude died and I went through him and hit me in the neck. You know, that's how I'm like a robot now, but I'm proud of it. When I walk in there, I walked out the same way I walked in, with respect. You know, and that's what keeps you alive on that 180 yard. It's respect. I don't care who you are, the artist or you. One thing you gonna have on that yard is respect and loyalty. And that's what I don't got on the street. Anybody out here that got off that 180 yard, they move like I move. They circle is short like my circle. And I don't even know nobody that made it off the 180 yard. I'm the one that got away. I got on boy did 44 years, 35 years. It ain't now one of them never. I got some homeboys, I don't know if the ones just got out. But I know a lot of people were down 35, 40 years. Ain't never hit the 180 yard. That's how cold that yard is. You guys, your CEOs don't even want to work on the 180 yard. But, you know, I was part of the problem, and I admit it. But I damn sure gonna be part of the solution now. And I'm gonna submit the real. And I ain't gonna say, nah, if anybody got anything to say about the nigga that been on the 180 yard, go on and say it. Go on to tell a nigga, oh, I know my cousin was on the X like y'all there. Was you on the 180 yard? Have you ever hit a 180 yard? If you have never been on the 180 yard, don't even talk on it. Don't even speak on it. Let that go, bruh. Let it go.